This is the day where we're going to find out what's going on with the CPI. So, what do we care? Well, it's very important. It's very important for you to care about the CPI because it's basically inflation, and because we're going to be told what's going on with the inflation, what's going on finally with this number that is eluding us and that is going to impact what the Fed is going to do. What the Fed is going to do, the Fed is going to hopefully lower the rates. That will have a huge impact on the stock market. So, without further ado, let's take a look at where we stand right now. Let's take a look where we stand right now, and let's wait the news to come out. It's about in 3 minutes from now. We're going to find out what the Fed is going to do, and this is important because in terms of story, it is driving the Nasdaq, and more in particular, the trade that we're looking at is QQQ, which is the ETF tracking the Nasdaq, and we have found some interesting correlation between the two of them. Why? Well, because at the end of the day, you don't want lower rates because lower rates means higher valuation. Is it going to impact Tesla, which did fantastic yesterday? Is it going to impact? Let's see. It's probably going to impact the Tesla as well. So let us share my screen. What we're looking at essentially the CPI. You see right here, CPI 830. We're expecting 0.3, and we're expecting a core CPI of also 0.3. So basically, it's they track the amount of inflation in the system. So what we'll do is what we're going to do. We're going to switch directly to these guys because they're following a lot better than I do, and then we'll go back and. Wow. Okay. So this is fantastic. We got what we wanted. So the market is reacting. So let's see how our trades are doing. Something that I've been talking about with QQQ. Okay. If you want any more proofs, okay, as to what is really going on, okay, look at this. What do you mean by look at this? So that was yesterday. We didn't do anything. I put a trade, I think I put the trade the day before. Okay, we were at 521. We opened up as high as 525 yesterday, and then we just basically traded water. But look what's happening right now, right? This is the before market. Okay, we're trending at 428, 422. Okay, that is not bad at all. We had 0.41%. Now remember, if you want to know how we're going to do with the option, basically, the one that I have from I think it's January, and I'll go over the trade in a few seconds. You multiply that by about 17, 18, maybe even 20. So we're talking we're probably up 10% today on that option. I mean, the stock, obviously. I mean, if we look at this, this is a beautiful thing. Let's see how Tesla is doing, because Tesla yesterday, I mean, I have to talk about Tesla, right? I need to talk about Tesla. So let's screen on Tesla. Look how Tesla did yesterday. Tesla started at a pretty decent level, and then and don't forget, we had a trade the day before, and then we took two trades. And look at this. Look at this. Look at this. It recovered all the losses that we took because we needed to be around 400, 406 or so to make money. But then I put another trade later on during the day, right? So that was the day before, actually. When I saw this opening here, I said, "This is it. This is the moment to do it." And then it wasn't a moment. It didn't. It just collapsed on me. Okay. Then on the way down, I also bought some more short-dated option. Okay. So then what happens is it didn't do anything. But then the next day, when we had the China story, we had, I mean, there's lots of story on Tesla all the time, which is good and could be bad, but right now it's pretty good. We just shut up. We literally shut up to 408. And in fact, yesterday, if you look at my video, I talked to you about this area right here, right? I say, hey, look, there's a pattern developing because it's all about the pattern, all about the pattern. And you could see it wants to live, it wants to be above the 50 moving average. And the point that I was making is essentially that what you have going for you, you don't have the background, you don't have the technical analysis, you don't have the machine learning behind you, but what you do have is you have, at least on my side, the ability to pick up on trends, because life is just a slew of trends. It keep repeating itself over and over and over. And it's also an ability to, and you need luck. And I'll explain to you about the trends in a few minutes. And you could see it picked up on the 50-day moving average. It tried to take off. Now, why? Because lots of analysts have put a $400 share view, but of course it's not 400. It's more now for obvious reason. Well, because now it's the next level. This is a $2 trillion stock. And at 409 right now, believe it or not, this thing is worth, it's right here, sorry. The market cap is at 1.3 billion. So you have you got more room to grow. You have room to grow here. Please don't forget, 413 is what we reached, was the whole time high, I think, 414. So, and that was 2 or 3 years ago. So we're not there yet. So there's more to come, more to come. So essentially, we did this yesterday, and we kind of did this, and we kind of did this. And I said, should I get out? And I said, you know what? No, because this has more to give. And of course, at the end of the day, it kind of gave some of the gain away to end up at 408. But then overnight, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this beautiful chart. Look at what's happening here. Overnight, we just kept on cramping. Now we're at $410. I don't even think, did we get there yesterday? Yes. At 410, now it's starting to become interesting. Now, obviously, I would like to point out to you, there's some over, as you could see, you can bring that chart down there. But basically, you could see, right, there's a little bit of an overbuying going on here, here. It was oversold here, overbought here. So we'll see based on volume. But as you could see, this is pretty interesting. Now, why is this interesting? Well, it's interesting because let me show you now what we're doing, because that's what we need to monitor, right? Let's check out our friend over at QQQ. We're just collecting, people. We are just collecting today. Look at this. We are now 523. We're approaching 0.5%. And what do I say? The parity. Let me show you some of my trade with QQQ. So basically, if you go on my Patreon channel, right, you could see that I bought some Tesla calls right here. Okay, I bought some Tesla calls. I should update the fact that I rebought. I saw some QQQ, but I bought some bags. So I made 3,100%, 1,500%. These are my basically my trading. You could see in my Patreon. I mean, obviously you have to subscribe, but once you subscribe, you get to see. You can actually buy the whole trading history. We're up about. We're going to be up more than 100% since August, believe it or not. But anyway, this is on the way to a $500,000 portfolio. So right now we're just playing with two things. We're playing with Tesla, and we are playing with QQQ. Why? Well, because that's the thing to do right now. Because we want to understand what we're doing. We don't want to go too crazy doing a bunch of different things. We want to really make sure that we are on top of the situation. So let me show you right now how we're doing again with QQQ. Now, of course, we have to last until about 9:40. Here we go, right here. Okay. How does this play in the great scheme of things? Okay. What does it mean? Well, let's go back a historical numbers here. Here. Okay, so we're here right now. Were we higher? Yes, we were higher. We were at 527 at some point. And if you remember what I talked about at that time, where it was basically driven December 6th. Well, December 6th, rate expectation, some good PMI numbers. There was some good inflation. Then of 23, we are about here. This is 527, people. Okay, we have more room to go now. Is this the high? Yeah, I hate to say it, but look at this. This is 523. I mean, we are reaching the highs, and you could see. Look at the patterns, right? The pattern is redeveloping, and the pattern is developing above the trending line. So let's make some comments about QQQ right now. This proved my point. This proved my point that QQQ is driven by the rates. Okay. Now, of course, you say, well, that's easy. So at least we know what's going to drive the stock market, right? We know because if they're going to lower the rates or raise the rate. Well, it's more complicated than that, right? Because what you have to realize is that you don't know what he's going to do, right? I mean, you're assuming that he wants to fight inflation. And if we're seeing 0.3, so basically what we're saying is that the growth in inflation is now growing in it. So he's got that under control. So therefore, we should be fine. Therefore, he's going to lower the rates. Um, yeah, but again, what's complicated in this story is that it's not so much what's really happening. It's what they say, they think, and what they're going to do. So, what would you have your hack? You have your hats hang on to. What? How can it help you? Well, the way you help yourself is you understand and you see what it takes, right? You literally have to look at those numbers every day, and you can't look at everything. You have to look at QQQ and understand what happens to it. If you know that it is driven by the rate. Now, don't forget QQQ. Essentially, what is QQQ? QQQ is Nvidia, is Tesla, is basically the NASDAQ, right? So it's a market. And what's great about QQQ is it's very liquid. And by liquid, I mean that it is literally trading, the bid and ask is very small. Don't worry about too much about it. But what you should know is that if it's not liquid, right? If you're buying at 10 and you say, I'm going to sell at 10, you say, well, yeah, you could sell it, but not at 10. You're going to sell it at 8 because that's what someone is willing to pay for it because there's a big spread, a bid and ask spread. Anyway, don't worry about so much about that. What you want to worry about is, well, what am I going to do next? How am I going to make money in the stock market? Well, first of all, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because that's going to be key, and like this video. So what do? We look at QQQ and we realize that it's driven by the rates. Okay. So how do I know that? Well, I know that because I've looked at it historically. Now it's driven by the rates only. I mean, I can't tell you 6 months ago. I could tell you right now, and you could see today is my verification, right? So I got this story straight. If you get the story straight, then you figure, well, but then you could keep making money as long as we know they're raising rate. They're going to lower the rates, correct? But is he going to lower the rates? That's the question. Now, he hasn't done anything yet, right? The Fed hasn't done anything. We're just feeding off the information. We don't know what he's going to do. Of course, at 523, let me give a quick check to see where we are. We're at 523 right now. Okay. And we're about 0.5%. At that level, at 523, we're high. So depends how much. I think here you make money on the way up. The day of the announcement. I mean, be careful because it could always be a surprise. Do you really want to bet the house on a surprise? What do I mean by a surprise? Well, at the end of the day, yes, inflation is under control, um, but but what about the tariffs? If Trump keeps talking tariffs, and then we hear tariffs and we hear inflation, and then we actually see it at some point, then there's a possibility. And don't forget, he's not particularly in love, although he's saying now he doesn't want to do anything with the Fed, with Jerome Powell. But he might want to do something. And if he says something, and who knows? I mean, I don't think Jerome Powell gets very personal about things, but suppose he say, you know what? I'm not going to do anything then. How about that? To show you that I am independent. Because right now, if Trump thinks, and this is a psychology that you need to get behind, if Trump thinks that Jerome Powell is going to lower rates, then fine, he's okay with the guy, right? As long as lower rates, president love lower rates. But if Trump believes or talks too much, and Jerome Powell says, you know what, I want to be independent at the end of the day, and he decides not to lower the rates, oof, that's going to be painful. I mean, some pain is coming down the line. Why do I know? Because there's always a black swan lurking around. Why do I know? Because there's pattern into everything. There's a pattern into everything. I will show you why. It's simple. Let's forget the stock market for a second. Why do you think there are wars all over the world all the time? Okay, forget wars. What about divorces? Why do you think there are divorces all the time? I mean, haven't we learned by now to avoid both of them? Don't we know what to do? We have seen so many of them. Why is it that we keep making the same mistake over and over? Look at your own life. Maybe you keep making the same mistake over and over. Why is it? Are you stupid? No, that's not the point. What you need to understand that you have something against you and it's not your fault. Yes, there's something that's playing against you. And you know what? It's yourself. How? It's because the way you're built. Human beings, believe it or not, are made and built to survive and to conserve energy. That's how we survived, right? In over the, you know, how many years we've been around, we have learned to conserve energy and survive. What do I mean by that? Listen to me. You're not supposed to eat every day. You're supposed to eat once every 3 days. Why? Because when you were in the wilderness and you were hunting the wildebeest, you had to find the food, and sometimes you didn't find it for a while. So your body adapted to it to survive. Okay. So whenever you make a decision, your brain, your old body, is not going, and it doesn't matter what you want to do. Your mind and your body is not going, they're both not going to do things that's going to spend energy for no reason. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially, if you don't like someone, you say, yeah, I don't like it, right? And you're not going to spend 3 days trying to figure out, but why not? Maybe this could be good for me. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because your energy, you're saving energy, you're saving your mental energy, you're saving your physical energy as much as possible. And unfortunately, when you do that, you may not make the most rational decision. Case in point, did you know that when, and I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but unfortunately you need to understand these things to understand what's going on with the stock market. The stock market is a beast. It's a wildebeest that needs to be tamed, but you need to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you could be taken to the cleaner. Okay. So the way feelings, it's the same thing. How do you know you like someone, you don't like anyone? Well, your brain tells you. But hold on. My brain? My brain is encased inside my skull. It doesn't see anything. It doesn't understand anything. Yes, it does. It uses eyes, smell, and ears to decide what it thinks is going on. Have you ever seen cases where you meet someone, you says, "Wow, no, that wasn't That's not going to work out." What I thought that, well, no. Or in the middle of the night, you hear a loud boom, and you say, What happened? Did somebody come into the house?" No, no, no. Take it easy. It's just a car across the street. How do you what do you think these things? Well, because your brain tells you, you know what? On the amount of time that I have, I am going to project what I think is going on, and most of the time you're wrong. So imagine that you're deciding on a stock. Imagine you're deciding on a relationship. Imagine you're deciding on a country whether to go to war or not, and all you base your impression on what your brain is telling you, and your brain is basically geared and built to conserve energy as much as possible. And therefore, it does a lot of projections. And that's what it is. It's all projections. You think you like this person, but in fact, you know what? That person is no good. But you found out about much later. There were signs, but you didn't pay attention. And the same thing with the stock market. So technically, you almost have no chance. Now, of course, when the market goes up, everybody's happy, everybody's making money. No, 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 no. You need to think. You need to think about what's going to happen that you don't see. And what you don't see is the black swan. And that's why I always say two things to make money in the stock market. You need to know what the story is, and you need to know where is the next black swan. Where is this thing that we haven't heard of and that is going to come and take it all away from us? Where's the next COVID? When is the next 2000 bubble? When is the next 2008 financial crisis? That is what you need to find out. That is what is important because this whole house of cards is basically based on making money and telling you that, yeah, you too could make money. So invest. Look at NVIDIA. But they don't really tell you how not to lose any. The reason I know is because if you look anywhere, you will have lots of ways to find out how, what the returns are, the quarterly return, the monthly return, the geometric return, the arithmetic return, all returns in the world, and they actually rank it based on those returns. But where do you see information as to whether or not how much risk is involved in that transaction? Well, I know you made 12% this month, but how much risk did you take for that 12%? I know when I did my QQQ trade, I made 1600%. Did I get paid for it? Hopefully for one day's worth of work. Let's take a look at those trades that we are waiting to hear from, and we'll see when they go live what happens to them. So basically, we go to Robinhood Legend for this. Okay, these are some of the trade that we have. Specifically, we are looking at this trade. Right, we're looking at the Tesla December 27 375 call. Okay, you're going to see those two numbers. We're up 13% overall. We're down 6%. We were up a lot yesterday, but I say, you know what? Today is the day. Okay, you're going to take a look at this QQQ trade, which we're down 24%. But you'll see what happens. This is a disaster, and this is a disaster. I mean, I'm just holding on to. It wasn't much of anything going on here, but you're going to see those three trades today when we go live, and that's what we're looking for. Now, look, right now we're at about this is the 1 minute intervals, and you could see we're still moving. It was great with that. You could do 30 seconds interval. You could even do 1 second interval. Look, It's breathing. Literally, it's moving. Look at this. 409. What made this to go from here to here? Right? What makes it move? It's all these people thinking and waiting. Let's go back to our friends to see what they have to say about. Well, we know exactly what the market is doing. The market is actually going up. The market is going up because it feels that it knows that the Fed is not going to do anything. With the Fed is what I mean by that. It's not going to raise rates. It's going to keep lowering those rates, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's go back and see what's going on with Tesla as we are salivating and we are enjoying this moment. This is a moment that is supposed to be enjoyed. Let me share with you um, how QQQ is doing, and then let's take let's take a look at the latest news on Tesla, because Tesla is a news machine. What's driving Tesla is the news. I hate to say, and the expectation, obviously. Okay, here we go. As you could see, we have we are now over in we're at 523. 523. Here we go. Announcement. Now look, do you see that? In fact, let me make my little circle to help you see how we're doing. Okay. So we opened this last night. We were there at 521, and this morning we're up 0.5%. Don't forget, 0.5%. We're talking lots of stocks here that have to come together to build the Invesco, because Invesco is a combination of many stocks. In fact, you know what? Let me show you what it is. Okay, this is Invesco. Invesco is basically is an exchange traded fund based on NASDAQ 100. The fund will invest in international non-financial firms. Okay, and let me show you what's in it. Here's a portfolio. See the portfolio? It's Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Broadcom, and Tesla, and also Costco wholesales. But so these are the stock that these are about. Okay. So here we are. Here we are. We are at 523.7. We should be approaching a whole-time high pretty soon. So let's see how we're doing. Now, let's take a look. Let's take a look at Tesla, because I will share with you with Tesla, because obviously this thing is at back to 400. Now. We closed at about 400. We are up almost 2% today to 409. Are we going to get to 410? I think so. Okay. So lots of things to talk about with Tesla. Let's take a look, because Tesla, the story with Tesla is that it is a news machine. Look at this. Look at the this is today at hold on, let's reload this thing to look at the latest news. Here we go. Today, 8:30 a.m., Elon Musk is viewed as robber baron by the international community. Tesla shares surge on record high of 4 as Goldman Sachs lift price target. Ah. as those as the Goldman Sachs lift the price targets. Let's see. As you could see, it is essentially here. Tesla shares climb as early Wednesday, trading after a second analyst um, announced a huge price target increase to 345. But now the stock is at a record high on the back of trading good brand and solid sales figures. So now they're all saying it's okay. The Tesla stock has surged 60% since election day and more than 84% since August 2020, August 26, when it unveiled the Cybercat. 84%. I remember the Cybercat Urbo taxi. Nobody liked the stock. Okay. Further bolstering the confidence, Elon Musk close tied to Donald Trump and the potential regulatory advantage provided by the company. That's what I've been telling you about. Unfortunately, you know what? All the news is out, right? So the stock is where it is right now. I mean, you could cash it in and look for a new opportunity due to interest in the company's robotic division, scaling. So we're talking about the robot, we're talking about Optimus, we talk about industrial use, right? All these news are good and happening. The Model Y popularity helped lift Tesla. So obviously everybody loves Tesla right now. And you could see with all the amount of 25, five things to know before the stock market opens. This is from basic. These stocks are moving the most today. I mean, look at all the news that reference Tesla. Look at this. All of these sales in China, GameStop. Um, it's amazing how much they actually do it. So the thing with Tesla is the story is Tesla is literally the story. Lots and lots and lots and lots of news hitting them, right? Now it's good because it means that there's so much information we're still grasping to understand what's happening. What do I mean by that? Well, when you look at a stock, right? You need to understand the story, but the thing is, the market is a huge price discovery machine. It's always trying to figure out how much is it worth, how much, how much is a stock worth, right? How do you know what the stock is worth? Well, you need to find out what's going on. Well, there's a lot of things going on with Tesla right now. Do you see all the news I showed you? News and news and news and news and news. It goes on and on and on and on. So the market is trying to understand. Okay, so what's going on, right? So the robo taxi. Okay, fine, but are the regulations going to come out? Is it going to be positive? Is Trump going to help? Is not going to help? We don't know. But yet there's excitement. Yet we feel that wow, this thing is going to be huge, right? And it was $400, and now it's a little bit $409, approaching the all-time high. But the all-time high, man, I mean, this thing has grown. The company is doing a lot more things than it used to do then, and rates are lowering back. And then he's got Trump with him. So all these things are going to build up to a summum that the stock is. Of course, don't forget the black swan. Don't forget what you don't see. But right now, it feels positive. So what do you do? Like today, I'm going to make money. Do I get out? Okay, but once you're out, you're not making any money. Okay, you're just sitting there and waiting. So obviously, what you need to watch out for is, well, what is the next thing to drive the stocks? And I think the strategy with Tesla is going to be: you go in, you benefit from the market, you go out, you see what's happening, you wait for weakness in the stock because there's going to be one. But the story at the end of the day is that this thing is going up. But do you want to make money like that? Going up, or you want to make money like that? You up, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So at least when something happens, you may be out, and it could help you. But this thing is going to keep going up at least until $500 a share. Why? Because there's a lot of things we don't understand about the stock. There's a lot of things we want to understand and we don't understand. So that's what you're going to need to do here. You're going to need to really grasp the concept of the story. And right now on QQQ, the story is going to be that rates are going to go higher. I mean, are going to go lower. So it's going to benefit the stock. So that story is going to drive it through next week with the Fed. For Tesla, Tesla is the gift that's going to keep on giving, I think. Why? Because there's lots of information about the stock, lots and lots and lots of information, and Trump is there. So I think we should be okay. It's just that you have to watch out. Watch out for the pullback. I mean, the P ratio is 100, which is huge. That's a huge P ratio.